Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching me from around the world. Welcome to the SA Show. My name is Seun Akinloton, and today we have Dr. Idris Babatunde Allinson with us. We'll be talking about farming as the new gold. If you're here, I would encourage you to be a part of the movement, and peradventure, you're here to subscribe. Go ahead and do so right now. Also, remember to share the news with your friends. So share the link with people so that they can join us as well. And then I would like to give you a shout out. Please leave me your name and your location in the comment box before we get started. So, okay, let me read some of the comments. All right, so we have Shoboye Jotolulokpe online, Oluwakemi Okpeyemi. Good evening, everyone. We are in for a great time. As we know, all around the world, food security is a big deal. And especially right now in Nigeria, we've heard news from northerners saying that they are not bringing food down to the south. So we just want to discuss different things that we can do, even in our own backyard. Olayemi Akinloton, welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Please do share this video with your friends so that we can have more people participate and we can all benefit one thing or the other from our guest today. I'm going to bring him on now, but before I do that, I want to play a short video and I'll bring him on.
Ìṣẹ́yá ọmọ Ògùn, ìṣẹ́yá Elédùmarè, iṣẹ́ máa yá o. Ìṣẹ́yá ọmọ Ògùn, ìṣẹ́yá Elédùmarè.
Yes. If you don't understand that song, it's saying that it's work time. It's work time. Ogun State Indigence is work time. As you all know, I use the hashtag that girl from Rock City. I am from Ogun State. It's a southwestern state in Nigeria. And Dr. Idris Babatunde Allinson is also an indigene of Ogun State and is a proud farmer. He loves what he does. He actually attended the Federal University of Agriculture and he has a degree in animal production. And not only that, he went all the way to the PhD level and he also has his doctorate in non-ruminant animal production. So please join me in welcoming the proud and passionate Ogun State indigene farmer, Dr. Idris Babatunde Allinson.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Idris. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so delighted to have you on board. See, someone said that she loves that short video. Azizat Kodri Omogun Isheya. Thank you, Azizat, for tuning in. We're going to get started. Welcome, Idris. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. It is a pleasure to have you on board, and we can't wait to dive right in. So, Idris, could you please introduce yourself? Can we meet you?
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Idris Allinson Babatunde. I'm a farmer. I'm a proud farmer. And before I say further, for those that know me very well, I keep saying, no farmer, no nation.
No farmer, no nation.
I can just shed light on that particular slogan that I used to post on my social media everywhere. So when I say no farmer, no nation, it means farmers, what we do is we produce food. That's
yes,
what we do.
Absolutely.
So, but without farmers, that means there won't be food. And without food, there's no life. And without life, there's no people. And without people, there can be nation. So you see what I mean when I say no farmer, no nation. So
No
on that
farmer, no
note,
nation.
I'd like to say I'm very happy to be here on the Sheon Akiloto show. It's a very, very, like, I've gained a lot from this show because I've been following it for quite a while. Especially the aspect of managing your relationship, you know, marriage and what have you. I've really learned a
Yes.
lot. You know, it's an institution that you can't really handle alone. You need experiences
The
and
learning
life.
is present continuous.
Exactly. You have to be learning, every day is a
Mm-hmm.
continuous process. So I'm happy to be here, and I want to say a very
Thank
big
you.
thank you to Shona Akineto for actually helping us in our relationship one way or the other. Really appreciate you.
All thanks to God. All right. So I still want to hear more about you, Dr. Allinson. I know that you have a farm that you manage in Ogun State. You're married. So can you please tell us more about your educational qualifications, the things that you've done?
All right, thank you. Um, okay, basically, I was born on 30th of March 1981. So I'm actually like 40 this month. Okay,
Amen.
and
Congratulations.
thank you. I'm from Shagam. Shagam is in Remo, Ogun State, Nigeria, West Africa. And
Yes.
I attended Federal Polytechnic Ilaro Primary, Nursery and Primary School. And then I went
Okay.
ahead to secondary school, Badu College, Ilaro. That's why I finished my secondary education.
Secondary school.
Now I did a bit of electrical electronics engineering at the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro before I now gain
Okay.
admission to University, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, where I have my first degree, my second degree, and my third degree, all in
Yes.
animal production and health.
Professor
I
Emeritus.
actually, yeah, actually specify on non-ruminant animal production. Okay, we're talking about monogastrics. Okay, so when you say monogastric, you're talking about animals with single alimentary canal. Yeah, not ruminants that have, they call them polygastrics. Don't think we should go into all that. Okay. And then presently I'm the managing director of Election Livestock Farms located in Ilaro. Okay. Ilaro is in Ogun State as well, state
Mhm.
Nigeria. That's the western part of Nigeria. Okay. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that introduction. So, from your story that I know, it seems like you've been familiar with the farming field since you were a child. So, is it right for me to assume that that was what enhanced your passion of being a farmer? Is it because your parents were also farmers? Now you don't have a choice. Please, can you shed more light into how you got to be so passionate about farming?
All right. Thank you. Um, okay. Initially, at a very tender age, I have, because I'm an adventurous person. Okay, so I just want to become a pilot. So if they're asking other kids that, what do you want to become when you grow up? You'll be like, I want to become doctor, lawyer, accountant, engineer. I'll just say I want to become a pilot. Okay, I just want to fly all over the world, you know. But then my dad is actually a farmer. My parents, both of them, they are into farming. Okay,
Okay,
but they started the farming business 1978. Okay, and
1978.
then, yeah,
Wow,
that's over 40 years ago,
43
and they're
years
still in.
ago.
So what really made me decide to drop my dream of becoming a
Passion,
pilot,
yes.
mhm, to now embrace agriculture is actually because of my parents. Okay, religiously you have to be obedient child and all that. That's what
Brilliant.
Islam teaches us. So most of the time, you just go with what your parents tell you. Okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
how it operates. And then um, secondly, I happen to be the only son that he has. So, and one thing about this poultry, about agriculture generally, it's not something that a generation can exhaust. It has to be passed to
Passed
another
down from one
generation.
generation to another.
Uh, excuse me, because you have a lot of fixed assets, like,
Yes.
you know, piece of land, a large piece of land, equipment and buildings and all those things. So it's always good to, and you keep investing in it with the hope that your child
Will
will
take
take
over.
over from you. Uh, Even as I am now, the farm is, though it's a small farm, but as it is, I still have to find a way of encouraging one of my own kids to take
Continue that
um
tradition.
to continue on her, because it's not something I can actually exhaust. So I think that is where the interest came. All
Okay.
right. I was born into to farming, the farming environment. I'm so used to it. I grew up near chickens and what have you. So I was raised with chicken money. So I
Making
felt,
money, big money.
initially, yeah, yeah, chicken money because it's money we get from selling chickens and eggs. And
Mm-hmm.
quite good. And so I felt, out of consideration for my dad, because I happen to be the only son, and it's going to be heartbreaking for him, if the son is not going the
Going
way he
into
wants him to
farming.
go. So I just have to sacrifice my own dream, drop it, put it aside, and then just embrace it and just to make him happy. That's that's basically what
Absolutely.
happened. But
Yes.
eventually, the love came and the interest came and the money came as well. The money is good, and the business is good. And then and then one thing that I developed over time is that this is the profession I'm doing. I'm providing happiness. I'm providing joy for
Other
everybody.
people.
They're free. All other professions, they rely on us farmers, because you have to be well fed before you can say you want to do whatever you want to do.
Any
And we are
other
in charge
thing.
of that. We want to produce food for you, give you good protein, balanced diet, and all that. So it's actually a very beautiful profession, and I'm happy and I'm proud to be a farmer. And I also like to encourage everybody to go
To
into
be a
farming. You don't
farmer.
really have to go. You don't really have to go to the university to study agriculture before you can become a farmer. No, no, no. It's a
Farmer.
natural thing. Everybody
It's
can
a
become a farmer.
natural thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one thing I really love that you do is that you bring your family along. So it's not just you, your wife is involved, your children are involved, just like your parents taught you. And it's always a great thing when you see businesses that are passed from one generation to another. We have a lot of American institutions that they've been around since 18 something, and right now they are on the fourth generation or even the fifth generation, and it's amazing. The buildings, the structure, the equipment, machinery is intact. So it's always a good thing when you have a business or something that you can transfer from one generation to another. That's great, and I commend you for that. Now, I know that farming is very broad, agriculture is very broad. Can you please tell us your own area of specialty, and why have you chosen to take that part of farming?
All right. I'm not sure I get the question right, but I think the network is acting up.
Oh, I
Okay,
can see you
but
and
I
hear
think,
you properly. So I was
all
saying
right.
that what aspect
So I think
of
the question is, why do I choose agriculture or something?
no, that's not the question. The
I didn't
question
quite get the
was
question. Though.
what aspect of farming or what aspect of agriculture is your specialty?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I specialize in poultry production, and the poultry production is raising of birds, domesticated birds. But I actually, and it's divided into two. We have meat production and egg production. Okay, but I specialize in egg production. Okay, that is layers. We call them layers.
Layers.
So yeah, the layers. The difference is just that the meat producers, the examples like broilers or cockerels, the male, while the egg producers are the hens, the female type. And one thing about this agricultural thing, this poultry thing, as a matter of fact, is that the meat producers, they give you fast money,
Hmm.
because they get to mature at a very short period of time. While the
Okay.
layers, you have to be patient, because you
Patient.
start feeding them. Yes, that's one of the virtue of being a farmer. It's not the very day that you plant maize that the maize will grow and then you harvest it. No, no, no. You have to be patient, and then you
Hmm.
watch it grow gradually, and that's how life should be. You just don't you don't take shortcut. There's no shortcut in farming. You have to be patient. That's one of the lessons or virtue of being a farmer. You
Being
learn to
a
be patient.
farmer.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So In like I was saying, layers, you have to feed them for like 5 or 6 months. You won't get anything from them
Hmm.
until they start laying eggs. Okay,
Okay.
so you'll be the one spending on them, and then after maybe like where they're like 18 or 20 or 22 weeks, when they start laying eggs, gradually the egg production will be increasing. So you get
Okay.
to a point that you won't have to feed them again. They'll be feeding themselves because
What do
you
you
just
mean
be
by
selling
that?
the eggs that are producing for you. The eggs they are producing is what you'll be selling. And when you sell the egg, you use it to buy feed for them. So now they are
Okay.
feeding themselves. Then the
Okay.
production will increase to another percentage, maybe like 65 or 70%.
Mm-hmm.
That point, they'll start feeding you. You know, initially for the first 5 months, you're the one feeding them. You're just feeding them.
Yes.
They are not doing anything. Then you get to a point, they're feeding themselves.
They're
Now,
feeding
started
themselves.
feeding you. And then when you treat them well, because all these things, anything that has to do with agriculture, you just have to do it well. You are dealing with living things. So
Hmm.
you can't cut corners. You can't just say, okay, you know what, you guys don't eat today, you eat tomorrow. No, no, no. Or just drink any water. No, the water has to be clean, the feed has to be quality, quality feed. That is when you get good result from them. So when the production reads like 85 or 90%,
Mm-hmm.
not only will they be feeding themselves and feeding you, you now be making extra profit, as in a lot
Wow.
of money. So
Hmm.
just the bigger you invest in it, that's the bigger profit you get. Okay, so that's how it works. And that's what I specialize on. But for broilers, the meat production, for those that want to start the business, it's always advisable for them to start with these meat producers. Not only are they, they have more disease resistance in them, so it's easy for you even if you make mistakes to get away with it, because you're a
Hmm.
learner. Secondly, you know your capital won't be tied down for too long, because
Okay.
for broiler now, within 8 weeks they're ready, you know for to be sold, so you can
They're
always make
ready
your
for
money
the
back.
market.
But the only they're ready for market, but the only one thing about producing meat producers is that you have to calculate your market. Okay, for example,
Okay.
now chickens sell a lot during festivity period, like Christmas or Easter or Eid al-Fitr, what have you.
Okay.
So once you know that Christmas is coming in December, you can just count back the weeks. So you start your own broiler production maybe around early November
September
or
ending.
September ending, so that by the time they are maturing, you just sell them off before they start consuming, because those meat producers, they eat a lot. So before they start consuming the profit, along the feed, because you can't sell the chicken more than the market price. Okay, so you just want them to mature and you just sell them off, because the
Sell
more
them
you
off.
keep them, the more they will keep eating. You can't just keep them without feeding them, and the more you
Wow.
feed them, then your profits start going. So all those things comes with a lot of experience and consultations and what have you. But you
Yes.
definitely,
It sounds great, but I'm sure that the process is a little tasking.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
a lot of people see farming as a strenuous job, a dirty job that is just reserved for a particular set of people, especially graduates. Graduates don't really want to go into farming. And farming is also considered to be capital intensive. So, what's your advice? Okay, I want to go into farming. What's your advice for me? What do I need to be looking at? What are the steps I need to take to make sure that I'm getting the most out of my investment?
all right. Thank you. Okay. First of all, let me just clear this impression that farming is not for illiterates. It's not limited to dead. As a matter of fact, that's the kind of orientation all these the so-called degree holders have, that they just have to have a white collar job and all that. No, look at me. I'm a doctorate degree holder and I'm a farmer. I'm a proud farmer. So
Proud
farming,
farmer.
so farming has gone beyond all that. You can't say no. I don't. As a matter of fact, there was a proposal I wrote to state government sometimes
Okay.
back, in fact, like 10 years ago,
Okay.
that we need to reorientate our youths, and the best way to do it is to, like this NYSC, that the National Youth Service Corps, that you have to serve your nation for like a year, even if
Yes.
it's just 3 months or even 6 months or even the whole year. of that service here. Let everybody, no matter your profession, whether you're a lawyer or a medical doctor, what have you, everybody has to serve. Let them engage in one particular agricultural program or project.
All the
That way, it will have this is supposed to be a kind of orientation for the youth, the National Youth Service Corps. So when the government do that, it's a way of making it so that everybody just know that you can actually practice farming. So you don't have to be like, no, since I have money, let them do the farming and then I'll just buy it. No, it shouldn't be. As a matter of fact, there's one country in Asia that they have the slogan that if you don't grow it, you don't eat it. It means that you have to be the one growing, what you want to eat. And then, and there's beauty in growing things than cutting things down. But you won't see that beauty unless you plant something and you see it germinating and growing, as you are watering it or as you are feeding it, in case of animals branding. There's a lot of beauty in it. Just watch something that you are the one actually raising this thing and it's doing fine. Okay.
Yes.
So that's by side. Now, fine. They said farming is capital intensive.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just take it from the top. The theme of the program we're doing today is farming as a new gold.
As a new gold.
New gold.
Yes.
So when you hear gold, the first thing that comes to your mind is wealth. Okay.
Absolutely.
Gold symbolizes gold symbolizes a very precious what's it called, asset that gives you wealth, that secures wealth for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, that particular gold, before it becomes something that you can wear for fashion or you can keep a bracelet or golden earring or what have you, golden wristwatch, it has gone through a lot of rigorous raw gold is a metal, right?
Now, it's a metal, absolutely.
Before you can get it, you can't just see gold on the street. That's why it's very expensive. You have to mine. Now, the process of mining alone is, in fact, when you see miners, they're so dirty and it's even a very dangerous thing because sometimes the mining hole gets to collapse on some of them. So
yes,
and that is how similar it is to farming. When for example now you want to eat cake like red velvet cake or cheesecake or what have you,
vanilla.
There's no way you can bake cake without flour. And then flour comes from what? From wheat.
Yes.
Okay? Now wheat comes from where? The farmers have to grow the wheat first.
Yes.
You now process it and you make the chaff, the wheat offer, then you now bring out the flour. It's the flour
so it's a whole process.
That lovely red velvet cake that you want to eat. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the cake is so lovely, but the process that went into bringing that cake to your table,
cake to life.
So you see, that is how. So you shouldn't say that it's only farming that is strenuous or that is capital intensive. All other professions have their own peculiarity. Like if I ask you now as a journalist, like this show that you are doing, is it just as easy as that, or you have some difficulty and challenges that you have to overcome?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of difficulties and challenges.
So it's not just farming. It's not just farming that is strenuous. I want to clear that orientation for people that it's not just farming.
That is
whatever that is going to shine. You have to go through some rigorous. This particular gold we are talking about, it has to enter fire at like a very high temperature. There's a lot of heating and smashing and burning, before it comes out shiny. So the same thing with farming. And what another similarity between this farming and gold is that it's so unfortunate that Nigeria used to be a very great nation, and that was when we were dependent on agriculture. But now when we shift away from agriculture and now focus our attention on oil, that's when we now see our economy, our level, everything start depreciating. So I think we need to go back to agriculture if we really want to elevate ourselves and claim back our glory as a nation. Okay?
Wow.
That's why everybody needs to embrace agriculture.
Everybody. So when you say everybody should embrace agriculture, how can people embrace agriculture if they don't have a piece of land, they don't have the equipment? How can they go about it?
Thank you. Okay. So for every profession you need to have tools, okay?
Okay.
You need to have some things that you have to do. So agriculture requires certain things. As a matter of fact, I can just maybe we'll get to that later, but before you can say you want to go into farming, you have to consider if you want to go into it in a small scale or a large scale.
Okay.
Everybody can do the small scale. Everybody can do the small scale.
Everybody
You
can do
don't
the
need.
small
It's
skill.
not a rocket science. Yeah, it's not a
Okay.
rocket science. You can do the
Okay.
small scale. Just have. That's why when you are building your house, you don't have to. You don't have to cement the whole compound. Leave some
Okay.
parts. Some
Part.
sand that you and your kids can just play there. You can plant something. By the time you water it, it will grow. You can have some vegetables. You can have some watermelon. All those simple things. Some fruits at the back of your
Yeah,
of your
even
yard,
peppers.
even pepper and all that. So
Mm.
all those things, it doesn't require too much what have you. But it's when you want to go into it commercially, that way you are going to require some level of technicality so that you don't go about it the wrong way.
The
Okay,
wrong way.
as
Okay.
as the show goes on, I'm still going to give some tips on how to go about it, and it will be so easy and successful.
And
Okay, whatever you want
successful.
to do successful, yes, how to go about
Mm.
it so that you successful, so that it's not as if you just start and then you get to the middle and then you just crash out. No, 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 no. You start from the
Mm.
beginning and you take it to the end.
And you take it
That is
all
that's
the
how,
way to the end.
all the way, all the way. Right.
All
So
right. Wow.
that's
Thank you
how it is.
so much. We're going to go on a short break now. And when we come back, we're going to discuss all you need to start your farming business. And also, we're going to talk about the lucrative agricultural businesses that are in town right now. So you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back from that short break. That commercial was for the book, the latest book in town, The Business Launch Simplified. It's a book that I actually authored. And if you're trying to launch your business or you're trying to launch a product, this book is for you. You can get your copy on the website, which is the BLS book, bit.ly/ the BLS book. You can get your copy right there. And it's an electronic copy, so you don't have to go anywhere to get it. Download it right there on the website and you have access to it. So if you're just joining us, I welcome you to the Essay Show. Today we're talking about farming as the new gold, and our guest is Dr. Idris Babatunde Allinson. I'm going to bring him back on now and we're going to continue the conversation. Welcome back, Dr. Allinson. Welcome
Thank
back from the
you.
short break. So the thing now is someone is on the line, the person is itching to start their own farm. What are the steps they need to go through? Could you please highlight some point for us so that we can know exactly what we need?
All right. Thank you. Let me just do it this way. There are 7 factors that
Okay.
you need to put into consideration if you want to start your agribusiness. Okay.
Okay.
First one is you need to know the choice of agribusiness you want to go into. If it is
Okay.
going to be crop farming, that is planting and cultivation, or it's going to be animal husbandry. And now,
Okay.
what is going to guide you in making this decision is not just because you see people doing animal husbandry and then you feel like, okay, since everybody is doing it, let me just go into it. No, no, no. You don't. That shouldn't be what is going to, determine
Determine.
which one you go for. You
So
have to
so
consider.
what do you think should determine that? How should people choose between
Thank you.
crop farming and animal
Thank you.
husbandry?
Right, right. First of all, you have to consider the resources that you have access to.
Okay.
Okay, if yes, if and then if you are in an environment that the market is saturated already for a particular product, you don't want to go into that. You want to do something, that is that is that is there is demand for it, and there is little supply for it, that one is going to help you out. And then secondly, you you need to consider your own health as well. For somebody, for example, now for somebody that is asthmatic, you don't want to engage in maybe um, production that will bring out dust, or
Dust.
that will trigger your asthma. So all those things you have to put them into consideration before you now decide, okay, this is the one that I want to go into, and then how profitable it is. And then secondly, it's capital. Like we were saying the other time that agriculture is capital intensive. Fine.
Intensive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. You have to use money to search for money. So
Oh,
that's
you
not
have to
going
use money to find money.
to find money. Okay. So it's not as if, okay. For example, let me just quickly digress. In in Kaduna State, some years back, I think
Okay.
Kaduna State or Kwara State, the governor actually brought land, I think, for like 400 million, because there's an foreign investor, I think they're from Egypt, that are coming to
Okay.
the state to invest. So he brought land for like 400 million. He gave the money to all those landowners so that they can have a big land at one point. At one point,
Okay.
and then presently now, that particular company, when he was spending that money, 400 million, people are like, this guy is just wasting money. They will just leave him. But I tell you, presently now, that particular company is worth over 150,000, is it 50? No, 50 million, $150 million. That's the
Wow.
amount of what they are producing annually. And then all the farmers in that area, they're really enjoying, because once they produce their crops, they buy it from them. It's a feed mailing company. So
Okay.
what I'm just trying to drive at is, fine, it's going to be capital intensive, and then that's the second point you have to consider. And there are ways of securing capital for your business, but
Okay.
the capital is not just to start the business, but also to sustain the business. And that is why it is very important to have a clear picture, of a projection of the amount of money you are going to need, not just to start a business, but to sustain the business, because you don't
Over
want to get to
time.
the middle and then you now crash out. That is why you need to do a good plan, like a master plan before you start the business. Know the amount of money
Exactly.
that you need. Okay, you have to have projection with the cost of production. Okay,
Okay.
and that you can get loan from your friend or from the bank or whatever. Although while I was growing up, I have this orientation that collecting loan is a bad thing. That
Yes,
it's
a
bad.
lot of us have that orientation.
Yeah, 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 that it's a bad thing. But my dear, the fact is, if you really want to make it big, you can't do without collecting loan. And I'll tell you
Wow.
why. See, the
Why?
reason is this. Look at all these big people that they are saying, all these rich people. The richest man in Africa, Dangote, he collected loan
Dangote.
before he was starting off. Even Obasanjo, when he was going to start his farm, in fact, when I went to his library, he has a museum somewhere in the state here. I
Okay.
saw the letter. He collected 1 million naira loan from one of those old banks. So
Wow.
what the thing is, collecting loan, depending on how, because when you collect loan, it's going to put you on your toes. You have to be, because you want to pay back that loan. So
Pay
you can't
back the
afford,
money.
so that it's going to give you a kind of push. It puts some pressure on you, because there's limits for you to pay back that particular loan. So you
Yeah, it's
can't afford to
time
collect
bound.
loan and now relax. You don't understand. So it's going to motivate you to want to work harder so that you'll be able to pay back that money. As you know, once you start on that tempo, that is a very fast one, as soon as you were able to repay that loan, you will still be on that level, that you are moving. So it's the same thing that will make you to be making more money, and then your brain will just be working fast. That even though you are no longer paying back, you already paid your debt, but that spirit is still there. So that's one of the advantages of collecting loan. Okay, fine.
Okay.
I don't like initially, but then that's just reality. Okay, even the United States is even having is indebted. Like when I read, like over $70 trillion, I don't know. So what's the big deal? Collect loan, but just know that you have to work hard to pay back the loan.
Okay.
Okay. So then, thirdly, is site selection. I already mentioned that the choice of agribusiness you want to do. Then, secondly, is
Yes.
securing capital. The capital, not just to start, but to sustain business. And
Sustain.
third thing is, yes, and first, the third thing is site selection.
Okay.
You have to consider where you are going to start your farm based on the
Why
choice
is that
that you
important?
make. Yes, it's very important because, for example, now you don't you want to plant maize. Maybe perhaps you want to go into maize production now. What
Mm-hmm.
you want to plant maize, for your maize to do well, you have to get like a loamy soil and soil that is
Okay.
loose. Understand?
Okay.
And then if it's you are into vegetable or maybe like cabbage, you want to plant cabbages. You can't plant cabbage on loamy soil. You have to look for clay or compact soil. That is where the
Compact
cabbage will
soil.
thrive. You know,
Hmm.
and then even if it's animal husbandry, you want to be sure that that area, is friendly to animals. There are no predators around. You understand what I'm saying? That can actually
Attack the
affect the
animal.
animals negatively. All those things. That's why you have to consider your site selection, and you also have to, you have to locate the farm somewhere that it's not going to be disturbing the people living
What
around.
about insects? I know that there are some insects that attack plants as well.
Yes, yes, exactly. In fact, one of the major predators or enemies of animal husbandry is soldier ant. That particular soldier ant can create a lot. As a matter of fact, he has created a lot of havoc for me on my farm. There was a night, they just less than 8 hours, they killed over 2,500 birds. Just one
Wow.
night. Those soldier ants,
Just
they
one
come
night?
just one night. They move in
Like an
I don't know,
army. They move
like an
together.
army. That's why they call them soldier ants. So they just, in fact,
Wow.
it was terrible. But that's one of the things that I used to tell people. That even if you have all the degree in this world, you still have to humble yourself so that because you
Hmm.
can always learn from people that didn't even go to school. But if you are too arrogant, you'll be able to learn from them.
Hmm.
The solution that I was able to get for this soldier ant problem I have on my farm, I got the solution from the gate man that he never even go to school. He's
From
an
the
old
gate
man,
man.
but those old people, they have some remedies that used to do. So it's just a plant. They just recommended the plant for us that once we plant, it's like an herb.
It will
You
give
just
them
plant it
the
around.
repelling odor.
It's just going to
Hmm.
repel. And believe you me, it's like it works like magic. The soldier ants will come, but instead of them to enter the poultry house, they'll just pass it by and they'll be going on their own. And you see them like this, as in it's like magic, just the
Wow.
plant. So that is always good to seek knowledge from other people.
Other
This
people.
one
And what
they
if
won't even teach
you,
you in
you you
university.
didn't treat him well? What if you didn't treat your gate man well? What if you thought that this person is
You
beneath
know,
you might not
you
have
see,
gotten
you
that help.
now you see, you will know the solution, but you won't say anything
He won't
because you are
tell
not
you.
even nice. And then you will have lost. Look at, I mean, just
A
imagine
lot
two
of
thousand
money.
five hundred chickens. That's millions.
How
A,
did
a
you
chicken
recover
a
from
chicken
that?
costs
That's
like
a
400
lot.
naira. They hold when they are very small. They cost like 400 naira. You can imagine 400 times 2,500. So just one
Wow.
night, oh. And at
One
this moment
night.
we didn't get that solution. That's how they'll keep coming back and they'll be killing my chickens. So that's just by the side. Then another point, the fourth point is input. Now, when I say input, I'm talking about what you want to start your, for example, now, like your seed or seedlings or shoots, those things that you plant that will make the starting ball, or like cassava stem or what have you, that you want to, or the seeds of maize that you want to plant. That's the input. And then when it's animal husbandry, you want to talk about your parents' stock. That is where you get your day old chicks or your animals, the parents' animal that will be giving you,
Producing for
you know,
you.
that will be breeding for you. So you can't afford to compromise your input because
Can't afford to
because
compromise your
you can't just go to the market and just buy. That, okay, this seed, they say that a can is 1,000 naira, and they say a can of this one is 100 naira. Let me just buy this 100 naira. No, 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 no. Because the point is, if you give it a poor input, you're going to get poor output because the production will be low, and then you won't break through. Okay, you'll be frustrated at the end of the day.
looks like we have some network problem. So he's been talking about the things you need to consider. I'm going to bring him in later. So he's been talking about the things you need to consider for if you need to start a farming business. The first one he mentioned was site selection. And the second one, he talked about capital. And right now, he's talking about input. Whatever you put in is what you will get out. If you get bad seeds or seedlings, you're going to have a low production. And if you get something that is quality in, you put quality stuff in, then you're going to get quality stuff out. You know how they say garbage in, garbage out. And we still have more for you. We're going to go on a short break now. We still have more for you. It's going to tell us about investment options for those of us that, maybe you are not a farmer. No matter what anybody says, you don't like farming, but you still want to invest in farming businesses, then he has a word or two for you. But we're going to go on a short break now, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Seun Akinlotan Show. My name is Seun Akinlotan, and I'm your host and moderator for today. We're talking about farming as the new gold. Our guest is Dr. Idris Babatunde Allinson. Unfortunately, we lost him to network, but I'm going to continue the show till the end because I actually had a conversation with him, and I was asking him questions about what type of agricultural businesses you can invest in right now. I know you mentioned honey, like if you can raise bees and go into honey business, that's actually a lucrative job. And he also shared some really cool pictures with me that I would like to share with you as well. And let's see. So right there, that's honey production, and that's actually Dr. Idris on his farm is trying to open that up and process the honey. And if you ever wonder why honey is so expensive, that's the reason why honey is so expensive. I also asked him how people can differentiate between real honey and fake honey, and he gave me 2 different tips. I'm going to share with you. It's not back yet, so I'm just going to continue the show. So he shared with me 2 different tips on how to know whether, if you go to the market, maybe because you want to start living healthy lifestyle, or because the doctor recommended it for you and you want to be sure that you are getting the original one. He said that if you use your finger to scoop a little bit of honey, you drop it in water, if the honey that is original is supposed to sink. It's supposed to sink to the bottom of that container or that water. But if it's fake honey, if you drop that honey in water, it's going to start dissolving. So that's one difference between fake and real honey. Another way you can tell the difference between fake and real honey is, it says that you can stick in a matchstick, put it in the honey, and then strike that match. When you strike that match, if it gives you like a green flame, then it's real honey. If it's fake honey, 2 things would happen. It's either the match would not strike because the tip of the match would be moist if it's fake honey, or even if it strikes, it's going to give you yellow, red color. So that's one tip I'm going to share with you on whether you have fake or real honey. So he mentioned honey production. He also mentioned piggery. If you can have a piggery, that's a lucrative business if you're thinking of going into agriculture. I asked him why he thought piggery was a lucrative business, and he had shared with me that pigs are one animals that when they give birth to, is it offspring now? I don't even know what. When they give birth to offsprings, they can give birth to up to maybe 12 or 13 at a time, which is a lot compared to other animals. So for example, you could have a lamb that is only giving you one or two after being pregnant for so long. You can have your cow giving you one or two, but pigs will give you up to 13 at a time. That means that you can multiply that quickly and you can get more money from that. So that's another business that you might want to consider. Another business he also shared was packaging. You can start like agricultural packaging, but before you do that, you need to actually look in your environment. Yes, you need to look in your environment and make sure that there's a demand for that particular product. We also realize that there are a lot of platforms now, especially agricultural technology platforms, whereby you can invest money. You can put in money and they will tell you that, okay, in the next 10 to 12 months, this is the amount that you're going to gain back from your money. But one thing about those platforms is, I know about one or two, but one thing about those platforms is that you need to do your research in advance to make sure that they are actually real and they are actually using that money for what they said they will use the money for. So agriculture is great. He also shared that you can start in your backyard. You can start with something as little as okra. If you eat okra, you don't have to run to the market every time to get okra. It's just a matter of buying viable seeds. Remember, he was talking about input. Buy viable seeds that you can plant in your backyard. It could be okra, it could be pepper. I remember when I was little, we used to plant pineapple. We had pineapples in our house. We had cassava. Yes, cassava business is also a big business because cassava can be processed into so many different things. We have the gari, we have the cassava flour that we Egba people use as amala. We call it amala. It's like a paste. If you make it, it's like a paste. Cassava can also be used to make starch. So another thing you can also do if you have money, but you are not really interested in getting your hands dirty, you can invest in other businesses. Maybe you have a young person that you know that is reliable, that is interested in agriculture. You can come together with that person, partner, you have the capital, the person has the passion and the strength to be able to do the job. You can always come together and do something together. Another business like he's already doing is a poultry farmer. If you know that you want to go into poultry, that's a great business for you as well. I'm giving you ideas. You people need to pay me. So you can go into poultry business and that's a lucrative job. But like you said, it requires patience. Nothing great ever comes easy. If anyone tells you that there's a business you can do and make money real quick, that person is deceiving you. But with patience and foresight, proper planning, you'll pay me. Yes, I need big money. Oh, I need big money. Tolulokpe Shoboye just says she'll pay me. I need big money. So farming, people, we all need to embrace farming. I wish that I could farm. I used to know how to farm. This girl you're looking at right here, I can farm well. Oh, don't try me at all. But I think I can excel as a farmer. And I believe that it's a business that anyone can truly do, irrespective of where you are around the world. And the good thing right now is that you don't have to wait for raining season. You know how back in the days when there was no rain, there was no corn. You'd be like, there's no rain. Now we have irrigation. You can plant at any time. Even right now, you can go to the store and you can buy corn in winter when it's freezing outside. Back in the days, we didn't have that. So it's all about creativity. It's all about looking at things differently and making sure that you are being innovative in whatever you do. Well, our guest is not back yet, but I believe that, he actually came back. He's back. Wow. All right. We're going to bring him back after this short break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Essay Show. With us today is Dr. Idris Babatunde Allinson, and I'm going to bring him on board because our time is fast spent. He's going to finish up what he was saying about the things to consider if you're trying to go into agriculture. Welcome back. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yeah, sure. I can hear you.
All right, welcome back. Well, I kind of filled in for you, so which is great. I hope you watch it later and see. All right. Yeah. So, you know what? Because our time is fast spent, I want you to tell us maybe 5 businesses that we can, go into if we want to start agriculture right now. 5 businesses, and also the things that we need to consider if we say, you know what, I don't want to go into agriculture. I just want to invest.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Like cassava plantation is one of the business that you can go into and get it, because like 90% of household in Nigeria presently, they use cassava product every day. 90%.
Every day.
So it's a lucrative. Yes, it's a lucrative business. You process it and get a lot of things from it. Then poultry farming too. Everybody eats chicken. There's no taboo against chicken. That okay, you can't eat all that. And then your chicken meat is even preferred to red meat.
Okay.
That's why I've been telling people that actually, even you see the nutritionists, they will discourage the eating of red meat because they have some. And chicken meat is white meat. So poultry farming is a very lucrative one. You make a lot of money from selling of egg and all that. Then rice farming.
Oh,
there's high demand for rice. Everybody eats rice. Rice is a staple food. Okay, and presently in Nigeria, rice the demand for rice is like about 5.5 million. Million tons per year.
5.5 million tons.
Yeah, 5.5 million. That's the demand for consumption of rice. And presently, the one we are even producing presently in Nigeria now is not even up to that. We're producing barely above 3 million tons. So it means that we're spending a lot of money importing rice to meet up with the demand of the population.
Can you plant rice? Can you plant rice anywhere? Does it have to be in the north or south, or is it anywhere?
Yeah, you can plant rice in the south. What you need is irrigation. In fact, that was why I was telling people you don't have to wait till rainy season for just do irrigation. Irrigation is artificial supply of water. That's why when this northerners, when they decide to block food supply
down to the
south, I was very happy. It's a good thing. As a matter of fact, I blame us for relying so much on them. Ordinarily, we have fertile land down here, so we should be able to be the one even supplying, and even we should be the one producing and supplying them, not the other way around. Okay, but thank God, at least we are learning our lessons now. Everybody is, trying to go back to farming. Okay, but the only thing is we have to do it in a mechanized way. Yes, there are a lot of technologies now. Planting, harvesting, there are a lot of machineries for them. You don't have to start carrying cutlass and hoe. How many people do you want to feed with cutlass and hoe?
Like we used to do when we were young.
So you have to do it, and that's how it works. And then there's another one, snail farming. This is a silent, in fact, means of making millions. Silent, but people are just just like snail. Yes, I say silent. Yes, because people find it like snail. How can I be raising snail when I can be raising cattle and pigs and whatever? But snail, if you can be patient, and I have snail, so I know what I'm talking about. And they don't make noise. They don't. There's no smell. Everything is just cool. Snails are very polite.
And even if you don't have a big land, you can have that snailry in your house.
Yeah, in a house. Just get tires. Use tires. Okay.
Tires. Okay.
Yes. Just put like 2. You remove the rim anyway. You put like 2 on top, and you fill it with sand, with loamy soil. Make sure the soil is not acidic. Just fill it and moist it. Snails, they like moist environment. They don't like dryness. Once you see dryness, they will go into hibernation. That's why you see one white mask can do that. In fact, their food, you just cut pawpaw leaf or even pawpaw itself, some cassava, no, not cassava now. What are you called? Cocoyam leaf, all those things. That's what you just give them.
And they are okay, they are satisfied.
They're okay. And then for their shell, for them to quickly grow bigger, you can supply them with some limestone or any sort of calcium. So you can even
Calcium.
grind the
Oh wow.
yeah eggshell. Just grind it to fine powder and give it to them. They will eat it, then the shell will grow bigger. And it's very lovely. And they reproduce. Do you know a snail, if it's going to lay egg, it lays nothing less than about 100,000 eggs in a year.
Wow.
100,000 eggs in a
Are
year.
you serious?
So yeah. So, but you just have to take care of those eggs because the eggs will hatch, and then you have to separate the big ones from the small ones so that they won't crush it. Because when they first hatch, the shell will be very, very
Soft.
light, very soft, and in order to crush them, separate the bigger ones from. But perhaps we'll find a time that we'll just talk on
On
snairy.
snailry.
Very beautiful, very very beautiful, very good. Another one is maize production, and then pig farming too. Pigs can be very prolific. They're highly prolific. You know, and it's a very good business as well. Especially if you are not Muslim, because Muslims has some reservation for pigs.
Restrictions
And
concerning
and then the
pig.
last one, and the last one, mix it in, is honeybee production. I'm into it as well. Honey production. One good thing about honeybee is you don't have to feed them. You don't have to give them water. You don't have to give them medication. It's not like poultry that you have to go in there every day. In fact, you can just go and see them once in a month. They are okay.
Wow.
Just make sure that the place is not overweeded. They will go and source for their food themselves. They will source for the water for themselves, and then they will give you honey. And honey.
Yes, I
One
would like
thing,
to show a picture, speaking of honey, although I showed it before while you were away, but I would like to show that picture again because I think it's a very symbolic picture and I
yeah.
love that picture.
Yes.
And
So
that's it right there. Honey.
yes, that's me. Yes, that's me in my bee suit because you need protective gadgets, protective wear before you can work with honey. Yes, that's me
Amazing.
harvesting.
I love it. I love it. It shows a lot of passion and dedication to be able to
Yeah,
do that. Well done.
yeah. So anybody can do it. You yourself, you can do it. You just need a little bit of training, and once you are well secured, you see, bees are wild animals. They can't be domesticated. They are not like chickens or goats or dogs that you can talk to and control. No, no. They are wild animals. That's how God created them. And one
Wow.
good thing about honey is that you can't see any technology as advanced as the world is. There's no particular technology that produces honey. It's only bees that God has given that power to be able to, transform nectar because they feed on nectar. Be able to
Mhm.
transform nectar into honey. It's only
It's
bees that have
honey.
that.
Only
So
bees.
and one thing about honey that I should quickly say, honey is very medicinal. It's used to treat a lot of things. You can use it to treat burns if you have accident. It's good
Mhm.
for diabetic patients. It has a lot of for cough, for infection. It has a lot of
Medicinal
antibacterial.
properties.
Yes, it has a lot of uh
Healing
I want to
properties.
some this it's okay. Maybe when it comes to me, it just escape my mind
It's
right
okay.
now. So all these properties, it has it, and it's good for the body. And then if you go and the best way to know, because honey is highly, in fact, it's one of the most adulterated food in the world because
Product.
you can because if you see a syrup, syrup that used to eat pancake,
Yes.
you just put it
It
beside
looks
honey.
like honey.
Hardly you won't be able to differentiate because they just have the same look and everything.
Color.
Okay. But there are ways of differentiating authentic honey, original honey from fake ones. Because the risk in it is this: if a doctor recommends that you should go and be treating your wound with pure honey, that within 2 or 3 days it will heal. If you now go and get an adulterated honey and start using it,
You're
it's
gonna be in
going to even
trouble.
worsen that injury you have. Instead of this to get better, you just be getting worse because you're not using original honey. And people, they'll just sell it for you. And another thing is, if you're diabetic now, and they say, okay, you shouldn't take sugar, but at least you can take honey. You now go and buy honey that is made from sugar, or sugar. It will keep
That's
complicating
called
the
double
health issue.
jeopardy.
So it's always good to get a authentic one. And the the number one way to be very sure that the honey you are taking is 100%
Original.
is if you produce it yourself.
I
That's the
already gave
best
them
way.
original.
Secondly, secondly, you can also do some testing. We have some testing like if you just drop a drop of honey inside a glass of water, If it's authentic honey, it will just go down,
Go
it will
down.
just sink, it will not dissolve. But if it's adulterated one, immediately you drop inside that, as the honey is going down,
To
it
start
will start,
dissolving.
dissolving, and then you know that this is not. And then another one, because there are some adulterated honey that they look so much like honey. But if you dip a stick of match, okay, matches inside a honey, if it's original honey, if you strike it, it will bring out flame, and the flame will be like greenish. You will see the edge of the flame will be like greenish. This one will tell you that okay, this one is good. If it's the fake
Original.
one, by the time you dip it inside the fake honey, it will have even be moistened. So when you try to strike it, it will not strike. And if it eventually strikes, it will bring out yellow flame, and that flame just tells you that this is not an authentic honey. There are other ways of testing if honey is authentic or not, but you can always produce it yourself. You just need a hive and a
Just need
fine
the
location like
time.
quiet. Yes, a hive. The hive, that is a house that we keep. The one I was trying to open when I was harvesting. That's the hive.
Mhm.
That's the house.
Okay.
And then it's just put in a quiet environment that is not too far from vegetation so that they can have access to nectar. And that's what they feed on. And then it's not too far from water. You just like water a lot. So it's come from river bank. And once they quiet, you just be producing honey. You don't have to go give them vaccination, no feeding, and they will soon fend for themselves. We'll just go
Wow.
there and harvest honey. But you have to know
Wow.
the time to harvest. You only harvest once in a year. Then
Once a
there are a
year.
lot of things.
No wonder
Mm.
honey is very expensive. Sometimes I'm like, why is honey so expensive? And when I saw all those
Yeah,
pictures and videos, I'm like, whoa, okay, it really
yeah,
truly
the effort
deserves to
that
be expensive.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank
the
you so
effort of them.
much, Dr. Allinson. Well, I wish we could go on and on. We're way over our time now, but I'll give room for if you have any questions, if you're in the audience, if you want to ask questions, please do drop your questions and I would give room for one or two questions. Now, so Dr. Allinson, I know that you were cut off for a little while, but I want to ask you, looking back to 15 years ago, what are the things that you would have done differently?
Okay. Thank you. Actually, 15 years ago, I think I just left university. Okay. Ordinarily, I would have just pursued my pilot dream and just go about it. But I'm actually happy where I am now, and it's actually as if God had just planned my route that this is how you should go. Because now I'm so happy, I'm so contented with what I'm doing. I'm providing food for everybody, I'm providing job for everybody, and it's a good thing. So actually, I'm a spontaneous person. So whatever happens, I just go with the flow. So
Go with the
I don't
flow.
think I would have done anything differently. That's what
Anything
I'm trying to say.
differently?
Yes, I'll
Yes.
just go with the flow.
And I tell you, you're doing your farming so well. It's beautiful, and we are proud of you. We really, really are, looking forward to all the great things that you'll be doing in the future. So, what else would you like to say?
Oh yeah, I omitted one of your questions the other time. It's if you know you can't go through the stress of going to the farm yourself, you can do some partnership. That one is very good. Okay, you have the capital, and then there's this one has the expertise, so you can just come together. But one thing I will warn you for those that want to invest their money in agriculture is, first of all, try to do some independent research on your own. You can do some googling or what have you. Just have an idea of what you want to invest in. If it's the crop farming, okay, you want to like maize plantation now. How long does it take for maize to reach harvest
So,
from planting? Okay, it's just 3 months. So you don't go and invest in something, and the person will tell you, this maize you are investing in is going to take a year before you can harvest, and then you'll have harvested like 3 times. You understand? So, but
wow.
if you have a previous knowledge, it's always good to have just a little knowledge of what you want to. Just say, since I've put in my money, no problem. No, 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 no. You might be cheated, and so it's always good to have knowledge about that. And then, on the last note, great farmers make great nation. You can see Nigeria was a very great nation while we are, like I said earlier, where we were
In the
relying on agriculture.
70s.
Because how will you know a great nation? Look at the value of our currency. In the 80s, especially 1980, naira was, in fact, 80 kobo. 80 kobo. Kobo is not up to a naira. 80 kobo is
Yes.
equivalent to a dollar. 80 kobo is equivalent to a dollar. It means that one naira is even more valuable than a dollar. Presently now, a dollar is like 400 and something naira. I mean, just imagine.
Yes. Mm.
So that one will give you a clear picture that it's when we had great farmers
Agriculture.
then that we have a great nation. But now the attention has been shifted away from. But thank God now, in fact, the government has been doing
Everybody's
a lot.
coming back.
Everybody's coming back. In fact,
I'm
the
sure your
government.
phone has been buzzing in the last 1 week as well. Like people are really
Yeah,
interested in
sure, sure,
farming.
sure. We need a lot of people to come into agriculture. You see, agriculture can solve crime. That's what I tell people. How do you go about that? First of all, poverty is one of the problems that is causing people to be aggressive unnecessarily, and because when you are well fed, you are not hungry, you are happy, and then you have
A
the hope
steady
that
job.
what you are going to eat tomorrow is secure. Why you won't want to be violent, you won't want to be aggressive. Okay,
Hmm.
so and then secondly, if you have something doing, they talk about an idle hand being
It's
a
the
devil
devil's
workshop.
workshop.
Yeah, if you have something doing, you're practicing something, agriculture, if it's beekeeping you're doing, or if it's crop farming you're doing, if it's animal husbandry, you are engaged, your mind and soul is engaged every time. You won't have time to think of negative things or how to harm people or how to kidnap people and all that because you'll be facing your business and the business will be giving you returns. So why would you want to hurt or harm anybody? That's why I said agriculture can actually reduce crime.
Solve the
That's what
crime problem.
the government have been trying. As a matter of fact, they've been pumping in some money, but unfortunately, the money will come, and
It
then
won't
before
reach
it
the
gets to
right
you,
quarters.
you don't get to it. So I think if we can still go back to agriculture, Nigeria can be great again. That's just
Oh, wow. So no farmers, no nation. And you also
yeah.
said, but I'm going to put it in my own words. What you meant
Okay.
was you said that if you're trying to invest in agriculture, it's always good if you do some background research to have an idea of how it works. So I would say that know something about everything and know everything about something. Thank you so much. This has been a rewarding time. I want to acknowledge some of the comments. Lola De Lawal, thank you. Shuboye Jotolulokwe, thank you. Azizat Podri, thank you very, very much. And if you are yet to share this video, be sure to share with your friends. Until next time, I would say be exceptional, be intentional, and be on point. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.